Hello, students of class 11. See here, four diagrams have been represented. These four diagrams are to explain about change in demand and change in quantity demanded. First two diagrams are representing change in quantity demanded. And the last two diagrams, diagram 3 and diagram 4, indicating change in demand. You all know it well that law of demand explains a price demand relationship. And accordingly, we are getting demand curves on the basis of these price demand relationships. These are the demand curves, downward sloping demand curves. Downward sloping because of inverse relation between price and demand. But demand is not affected only by the price of the commodity. We have to consider change in demand because of change in other factors also. Accordingly, we classify our discussion into two parts. Change in quantity demanded means we are considering change in demand due to change in price of the commodity. That is called change in quantity demanded. If we consider change in demand due to change in other factors, that is called change in demand. First, we will talk about change in quantity demanded, where price is the reason. If price is the reason, price may fall, price may rise. If price falls, what will happen? Demand will expand. This expansion of demand or rise in demand due to fall in price is termed as increase in quantity demanded or extension of demand. Similarly, price rises and demand falls, decrease in quantity demanded or contraction of demand. So the term change in quantity demanded are of two types. This diagram explains increase in quantity demanded. Here price rises due to fall in price. Here demand rises from OQ1 to OQ2. Why? Because of fall in price. And this diagram explains fall in demand due to rise in price. So it is decrease in quantity demanded or contraction of demand. Change in quantity demanded are of two types: increase in quantity demanded or extension of demand, and decrease in quantity demanded or contraction of demand. In this diagram, see the diagram. D dash is the demand curve. Initially, consumer at point E1. At point E1, price is OP1, demand is OQ1. Now, if price falls from OP1 to OP2, consumer arrives at a new point E2. So, consumer moving to the downward direction along the demand curve, and at this point, demand rises to OQ2. So, when price reduces to OP2, demand rises to OQ2. This rise in demand from OQ1 to OQ2, why? Due to a fall in price from OP1 to OP2. This is extension of demand or increase in quantity demanded, represented by a movement along the demand curve to the downward direction from E1 to E2. Here, DD dash is the demand curve. Initially, consumer is at point E1. At point E1, OP1 is the initial price, OQ1 is the initial demand. Now, if price rises from OP1 to OP2, consumer arrives at a new point E2. So this is a movement along the demand curve to the upward direction when price rises. Because of this rise in price, demand reduced from OQ1 to OQ2. This fall in demand, Q1, Q2, is contraction of demand or decrease in quantity demanded. Why? Due to a rise in price. So demand falls when price rises. It is explained as contraction of demand or decrease in quantity demand. And when demand rises due to a fall in price, it is called extension of demand or increase in quantity demand. Now, here we will explain if other factors are the reason. Here price is unchanged, price is not changing, fixed at OP. Price is fixed at OP. Initially, consumer in this demand curve at point U1. What is demand? OQ1 is the initial demand at price OP1. Consumer is at point U1. Now if for some reason demand rises, price is fixed, for some other reason demand rises from OQ1 to OQ2, then we are getting a new price quantity combination at point E2. This is not lying in the same original demand curve. So we are considering an imaginary demand curve. Price quantity combination must lie on a demand curve. We are considering an imaginary demand curve D1, D1 dashed. Or in other words, we can say it is a case of forward shifting of the demand curve. Price fixed, demand rises, represented by forward shifting of the demand curve from DD dashed to D1, D1 dashed. This is called increase in demand. Price is fixed, but demand rises because of other factors, change in other factors. Case of increase in demand represented by forward shifting of the demand curve. Change in demand may be classified into two: increase in demand when there is a forward shifting of the demand curve, and if opposite thing happens, the backward shifting of the demand curve. Demand falls, price is fixed at OP, but demand falls from OQ1 to OQ2 because of some other reasons. Demand curve shifts to the backward direction from DD dash to D1, D1 dash. This movement to the backward direction, demand curve is shifting to the backward direction, indicating decrease in demand. So when demand falls due to other factors, not due to price, decrease in demand. Demand falls due to other factors. Price is fixed, decrease in demand. Demand rises due to other factors. Price is fixed, increase in demand. Now if you are asked, what are the causes, possible causes of increase in demand? Then what will be the answer? Price is fixed, but demand may rise. When? When there is a rise in income, when consumers' taste goes in favor of the commodity, when price of substitute good rises, or when price of complementary good falls. All these are the possible reasons of increase in demand. And opposite will happen, opposite reasons will happen in case of decrease in demand. Decrease in demand is possible when income falls, when consumers' taste goes against the commodity, when price of the substitute good falls, or when price of complementary good rises. These are the reasons of decrease in demand. Now, another thing I must tell you, price is unchanged at this moment, no change in price. But you may have an expectation about future price. You may expect future price will change. Price is fixed, but if you are expecting that in future there will be a fall in price, that means you are expecting commodity will be cheaper in near future. Then what will you do? Then you will reduce today's demand. You will wait for tomorrow. So in that case, if the consumer is expecting a fall in price in near future, all the price is fixed, demand will fall, backward shifting of the demand curve. If consumer expects a rise in price in near future, price is fixed, but consumer expecting tomorrow price will be higher. So it is better to purchase tomorrow. So price is fixed. Because of this expectation, price will rise in the future. They may start to purchase more. Demand will rise. Price fixed. Because of this expectation of price rise, demand rises at present and represented by a forward shifting of the demand curve. Increase in demand. So increase in demand and decrease in demand may be due to a change in expectation about future price, although present price is unchanged. This much today. Thank you.